Welcome, everybody, to the PCC Institute for Health Professionals podcast. I'm Pete Wright. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we have Jennifer Darrow, who's a wound and foot care nurse, and she's here to talk to us about foot and nail care. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How did you get into this particular specialty?
Well, starting off in nursing is fabulous because there are so many options to go from. Once you start working as a nurse, you discover the niches that you really enjoy. And the first niche I found was wound care. And through doing wound care in lots of different settings, home health, hospital, clinic, you take care of a lot of feet when you are doing wound care.
Well, now you have, why is that? Why are feet such a magnet for injury?
Lower extremity chronic wounds. So it's not necessarily the acute injury type of wounds, although you get those with surgical things gone wrong. But so many of the population has diabetes, and so there's diabetic foot problems, ulcers, lower extremity wounds that we're dealing with over a long chronic period, trying to help them heal up. And so I was seeing these people for long periods of time, week after week, you take care of their feet as well. And people would have nail issues, and we would talk about it, and I would take care of them. And I found I enjoyed taking care of the feet and taking care of their nails and helping them feel better. And then also I would hear their stories about why they weren't being taken care of in the first place. And there wasn't as much help out there for routine foot care. And so I saw this as a needed niche for nurses to start getting involved in, and started exploring that area more for myself.
You know, it's fascinating that you put it that way, that there is, for lack of a better word, sort of an ignorance of sort of long-term kind of overall foot care. That just sort of appeared to you. It wasn't something in the course of your training that you thought, I really want to get into feet.
Right.
Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it was a need that I could see as they presented it to me, as patients were coming in, and just through that course of providing care for them, you were able to see this other great need that was out there.
Now, as a result, in your work, you don't necessarily affiliate with a hospital, right? You have your own practice to service outpatient.
Correct. Yes. When I saw the need, I found I actually enjoyed doing foot care. Not everybody can say that or enjoys that, but as I became more interested in it, I learned that there was a certification process for it, which is only recent, by the way, and hasn't been out for that long. And so then I pursued that and started learning that, I could do this as a business for myself since I was already an RN. I had that established, and I was able to start my own in-home business as I learned about how other nurses had started up their own businesses and kind of got the support system going there.
What kinds of you've already talked about the kinds of foot care issues that would come into you in the course of your kind of professional development. In your business now, do you focus more on sort of the rehabilitative, or do you what is the balance of the kinds of cases that you see?
It is mostly maintenance in the community. People who have a hard time getting out for appointments. So we're looking at a lot of the elderly population, of course. People who have long-term illnesses.
We should clarify that when you say
get out of the house much.
When you say in home, you mean in the patient's home, not
correct. I've designed my particular business is I go to people's homes. There's other foot care nurses who provide clinics at residential care places and where people come to them. But in mine, I go to them.
Well, that is charmingly old school. The whole house call vibe is really great.
Yes. Yes, it works.
Let's talk a little bit about this certification. You say it's a new certification. What is it that is Why has it taken as long as it has, I guess, to come up to awareness of certification? What's required to get certified?
Well, it hasn't required certification for so long, and it still doesn't require certification to do foot care, especially if you are an RN.
Well, I should be more specific that what is required of you to get certified. Yeah.
The people who do the certification is the Wound Ostomy Continence Certification Board. So this is one of the big groups in America who certifies nurses to be wound ostomy nurses, continence nurses. And I was familiar with them already because of my previous work with them and certification through them. And so then I learned that they had begun offering a foot care certification process as of 2005. So by the time I was getting around and interested in it, they had it going, and it was very exciting because the certification process provides more professionalism to it. It just elevates the standard that, hey, there's nurses out there doing foot care. Let's get certified for it, and kind of substantiates the whole professionalism of it. So to certify for this particular group, who's the only one providing certification, again, they require you to be an RN, and as well, they do have a little caveat that even if you don't have a BSN, you can have an associate degree, and you either go through a particular foot care course, educational whole course, or you can do it with an experiential pathway, which is getting a particular amount of class hours and clinical hours. And so that is the route I pursued, and the route that I help people pursue at PCC by providing class hour credits.
You know, the role of certification is so interesting in this field. It's you mentioned a little bit about how enthusiastic or excited you were when you discovered that there was certification because of what it does to what certification does to the I guess would credibility is
Correct.
not the right, maybe not the right word, but this sort of activity in the field and the excellence in patient care. Can you talk a little bit more about what you are seeing in your peer group and the overall level of care in the field as a result?
I see other people grasping the importance of education in this area, and that it's not just, oh, I can cut some toenails. It's so much more, especially for the nurse and the RN, to be properly assessing, to be providing the correct interventions, to be going through the whole teaching process with patients. It's so much more than just going to a salon and having your nails done. By being a nurse and going in and seeing a patient and putting all these things into proper place, having the educational background, knowing what we're looking at, knowing what it might mean, when to refer to doctors, educating the patients on how to care for them themselves, or when to go to their doctors, etc. We are providing so much additional professional service for health care, not just the foot care. So I see, like, the nurses who have taken the class, when they're asked, what did you really learn from this? And they say confidence. I have much more confidence in what I do. And I also have learned so much more in depth about how I can provide a nursing function for these patients as well. And it's... of course, it's really huge for me also, coming from a wound care background of, I'm looking at the whole leg, not
Right.
just the foot. And so that's what I'm teaching the nurses. We look at the whole foot, the whole body, the whole person, which is a theme that is prevalent throughout nursing school up into whatever we're doing through nursing.
It's the idea of the foot as part of the system.
Correct.
They're always just down there. I find myself just talking to you, staring at my feet, wondering what could possibly be wrong with my feet today. This is a fascinating area of expertise, Jennifer. I'm honored to know that you're out there doing that and that you're joining us to talk about it. How often do you give this lecture through PCC? And can you tell us just a little bit more of the logistics behind how we would come see you there?
So far, it's been maybe once or twice a year. I love teaching about this. I love going through the information with people because it's usually an area that people aren't being badgered into going. If they come to class, it's because they really want to, and they want to learn what you're learning. So we have such a good time learning and teaching together.
But it's so not. Is it part of a particular program, or is it offered ad hoc for anybody with the requisite experience to join you?
Basically, what I know is when they ask me to do it again, I do it. So
you're in a great position. That's all you need to know. Just do the training.
That's right. So if they have a lot of requests for it, that's what I've heard from them, is that when there's a lot of requests coming in, interest being shown for it, then they get a date together and we start putting the class together. And right now we have been focusing on making sure that we provide the class credits required for people interested in actually pursuing certification. So that's part of our focus, is to help people towards that.
Okay, well, Jennifer, I feel like you are fighting the good fight for, they say the foot is the unsung hero of the leg. I'm not sure if you heard that. That's a thing.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about you? Can we offer them something so they can ask you some questions if they'd like more information on your lecture?
Yeah, sure. If they would like to contact me personally, they can email me at Jenny, JENNY, at jennyshealthyfeet.com. And if they're interested in the lecture, the class, or certification, contact PCC and ask when the next class is going to be, because that lets them know what the interest is out there. And also, I'm going to do that little plug in. If they want to do some research on their own on foot care requirements, the WOCN CB, if they plug that into the internet, they're going to get onto the WOCN website, and there's a whole foot care section that gives all the details on eligibility, requirements, and has wonderful links to other foot care educational sites if you're even slightly interested in pursuing this area of nursing.
Excellent. WOCNCB, the Wound Ostomy and Continence Nursing Certification Board.
Correct.
I am going to join today.
Oh, I'm sure.
We will definitely include a link in the show notes for folks who are interested and to get more information. And please begin your lobbying effort today. Let's get Jennifer Darrow back at PCC for another round of lectures immediately.
Yeah, I love it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today, Jennifer Darrow. This is it's been an illuminating conversation.
Well, thank you.
And for those of you listening on this, to the show on Facebook, make sure you head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show for free. Just search for the IHP Health Professionals Podcast, and you'll find us. And you can subscribe and make sure you don't miss a single episode of Healthcare Goodness. We sure appreciate your participation. And remember, those kind comments and 5-star reviews help other people discover the show as well. So we certainly appreciate your feedback. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. On behalf of Jennifer Darrow, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll catch you next week on the PCC Health Professionals Podcast.